Here's a pretty sad truth for you guys. If you're not absolutely crazy obsessed with dating, meaning that in the list of priorities you have in your life where you put your time and your energy, your fitness, your finances, whatever it is, if dating is not the absolute forefront of where you put your focus in 2024 and beyond, train wreck. Train wreck is going to end very, very badly for you. Hey guys, back to the video in just a few seconds, but first, I had to share these amazing results that I've been having on dating apps using 100% fake AI-generated photos. Every single girl that you're seeing on screen right now, I matched with on Bumble using, yes, fake AI photos. And here are the photos on the screen right now that I used. And before you rush to the comments and want to say something dumb like, oh, I could kind of tell that they were fake. I know that you can't tell that they're fake because I'm lying to you. I'm showing you a mixture of both real photos and AI photos, and I bet you can't tell the difference of which is which. And I've done well on the dating apps even before with real photos, but ever since I put AI photos on there into the mix, the results have been absolutely insane, as you were seeing. And not only can I now be super lazy, I don't have to do photo shoots anymore in real life, but I can now get access to backdrops I never could before, such as being on a private jet or some insane looking baller Airbnb. And no, I know what you're thinking. Both the dating app platforms and Instagram cannot tell that these are AI and they will not get you banned. So if you want some of these for yourself, just check out the link in the video description. It's also in the first pinned comment. It's the same link, and we will get back to the regular video now. The drug, like the high, the amazing feeling that comes from dating a super high quality woman, a woman that looks like the type of girls you would like watch in porn. You shouldn't be watching porn, but a girl that like is actually looks like if you were to use pornography, like the girls that you actually jerk off to, but at that same time is not a hoe, feminine, totally compliant and submissive to you, accepts you as the leader in the relationship, smart, interesting, charming, doesn't annoy you, etc., that has all these qualities. If you're not going for that, then you're missing out on one of the most greatest sources of happiness and fulfillment in your life. And I got some criticism that inspired this video, and I want to just, read these comments. So these are the comments I got that inspired the video. One guy says, "You're getting too old to commit so much energy to dating. It's just women, more to life. And if you are high value, then you don't need to think about it nonstop." Oh, really? Interesting. And then some guy replied to this comment, basically agreed with him. He said, "Yeah, that's one contradiction to this whole thing. If you are smooth, high value man with game, why would you need to go through extraordinary lengths like this just to get a decent woman?" So on the surface, it sounds good, right? Like someone who doesn't know shit, some, young 16-year-old kid who doesn't know really how the world works yet may sound like that. Like, yeah, if you're a high value guy, options will come about. They'll just present themselves in day-to-day life. No, they won't. You need like actual step-by-step plan and strategy. And this video is going to be broken into several chapters. We're going to talk about all this is like why you need to obsess. So the whole theme of this video is like why absolute focus and obsession over this area of your life is the only way you have a chance of getting a woman you're going to be truly happy with in the long term, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, sexually. But here's reasons why. There's so few good options. Modern dating is extremely competitive, and why ultimately this obsession over a super high quality woman is worth it. So first of all, to the guys that criticize us, the guys that, criticize and said, oh, there's more to life than women, bro. These guys are in cope. These guys are dating super mid chicks. These guys are dating 4s and 5s. And I'm putting B-roll on the screen. I think it's pretty well documented that I date, really, really beautiful women. And I understand that from a paradigm that a lot of you guys are coming from in my viewers. Look, some of you are taller and better looking than me, and you make more money than I do. Cool. That's a small percentage of the audience. Let's be real. Most of you guys are, stuck in the US in some mediocre job. And I would just say this, you don't have to get a girl that's universally like an 8 or 9 or 10 to everybody. Just get a girl that's your type. Like for me, if a girl is Latina, brown, morena, even just like B-cup boobs, I don't need huge boobs, nice ass, pretty face, even if she was like, heaven forbid, like slightly chubby, like we have this term that I use in our WhatsApp groups. I call that like a dick 8 or a dick 9. It's these girls that like, I know I couldn't put her in my videos. I know I would get roasted by like the comment mess. It doesn't affect my ego, and sometimes I will even show girls like that. But like a girl that's slightly chubby with thick thighs and a fat ass is like, it's like my type, right? So look, just get a girl that maybe isn't universally hot, but she's your type. And even more importantly is the personality traits. And even a girl that's just in shape, this is why you have to obsess over, because it's competitive and there's very, very few options. The average weight of the average American woman is 170 pounds. I've talked about this before. Not only that, they're brainwashed to hate men due to feminism. They're taught that men are these evil oppressors and they make more than you. And, every guy, if given the chance, if there was no witnesses, he would like just assault. If he could just be alone with a woman in the forest, he would just get on top of her and start assaulting her. That's like the whole man or bear argument. If you don't know what that is, I'll make it real quick. Basically, feminists are saying they'd rather be alone in the woods with a random bear and take their chances with the bear versus being alone, lost in the woods with a random man. Sure, I get, 1 in 5,000 men or something like that is thinking if I could get alone with a woman and no witnesses, but anyway, women actually believe that it would be better off to be with a bear. Do you get this? Women actually are brainwashed to think that they're better off with a bear alone in the woods than a man. You combine that with, even if they don't necessarily hate men, they generally have, these kind of dry, non-cooperative, masculine personalities. And due to social media, they get endless validation, right? And women don't judge their sexual market value of what they deserve by who they can get into a relationship with. They base on who they can fuck. And the thing is, just for quick sex, guys will go down pretty far. Like a guy who's, let's say, it's even documented, celebrities and stuff like that. You see this all the time. They'll hook up with, I don't know, XYZ chick. Arnold Schwarzenegger hooked up with his housemaid one time. And this chick was a verifiable, I think she was actually quite ugly. But point being is a celebrity who's a 9, if a 7's just throwing some easy pussy at him, the celebrity's gonna take it. He's gonna take the 7. And they also base their validation on who they match with. But for a man, what was quote unquote at your level is who you can fuck. So if you can fuck 8s, you can rest assured that you probably are an 8. That, or you got a sick ass amazing strategy with a sick ass social media, online dating, virtual assistants, a lot of automations like I do. So maybe you just have a sick strategy like I do. But if you can fuck 8s, you're an 8s. Women, it's who they can get into relationships with. So they're promiscuous, they're masculine, and even if you want to, again, I talked about, not everyone in my audience is going for these ultra attractive women, kind of some that I've been, showing on the screen now. But some of you are, and even if you want just like I said, an adjustable 6.5 that's your type, so she's a 7.5 to you. These girls are given so much validation, free stuff, guys offering to pay for them things. They're never being called out by guys or putting in check. So they all think they have these, amazing personalities and stuff. They don't really develop, intelligence or a, charming personality. And it's very, very competitive. We're living in a globalized dating market. Men have to try. Look, a lot of guys have given up. I get that. There's a huge percentage of guys that have, completely given up and thrown the towel. But the guys that haven't are doing things like they're learning game. They're working on their confidence. They're learning more about female psychology. They're in the gym 5-6 days a week. They're taking steroids. They're focusing on photography, putting together super high status social medias. They're buying boosts on dating apps. Girls are only looking at these top level guys anyway. And it is a very, very competitive landscape. And you have high competition from other guys, and you have a low dating pool, a small dating pool of women who, like I said, aren't brainwashed by feminism, aren't masculine, are actually in shape, actually have non-irritating personalities. Just to find a girl of average intelligence with a non-irritating personality that looks good is, you probably, and feminine, has a feminine personality, you've probably already cut off 90+% of women in the United States, and honestly, certain other countries. So here's why you have to have this be almost like an unhealthy obsession. And I say this with other things too, like with business, with fitness and stuff like that. If you want to get success in a lot of things, you have to be truly obsessed with this. The dating landscape has changed. I have my notes here. If you're not approaching dating almost like a business, almost like a sales and lead generation business, where, so for sales, right? You would have a system for putting in new leads into the pipeline. So something's happening automatically. It could be organic content, could be, cold outreach, emailing people, whatever it is, but you're putting new prospects in the pipeline. Then you have some system of nurturing them, and then some system of getting them on a call. So and hopefully by the time that they're on a sales call, they have engaged with your marketing material. They know about you, what problem you solve in the marketplace, what your message is about, and then ultimately closing them and, getting them to pay money. You need to start approaching dating as a business too, because not only is it so hard to even get, a remotely attractive woman on a date, you're going to have to filter through a lot of the muck. Like I said, the masculine personalities, the women who are just, even women who there's nothing wrong with them. Like you can't even pinpoint it. There's no, you can't even say oh, this is bad. She has this and this and this bad quality. Maybe you just don't connect with them. Maybe she's a totally fine human being, but you just don't happen to connect. And also in the realm of obsessing over this women thing is, getting a decent physique. So, and getting your money right. Two things that do not help my case as a dating coach is I eliminate a large percent of my would-be prospects, my would-be customers, by telling you fucking schmucks harsh truths like, listen, if you're really chubby in the United States, if you don't have a good-looking face and you're chubby and you don't make good money in the United States, even if you could afford enough to pay me, even if you make 60 grand, I don't do this anymore. I used to sell an online community where you get access to all my courses and coaching calls for $97 a month. So even if you make 40, 50, 60K a year, you could afford my services. But now I'm cutting those people off. I don't want your money. If you're chubby and not good looking and short and you're in the US and you only make 40, 50 grand a year, I cannot help you. I can help if you want to date super mid chicks. Okay, that's different. If you want to date, 4s and 5s, that's not really what I focus on. I don't get a good feeling at night knowing that I, help some guy date some ugly ass chick, but I suppose I could even help those guys, but now I turn those guys away. I tell you guys listen, you have to at least, let's use a guy who's, 5'10", 5'9", 5'10". You've got to be at least 160 pounds and sub 15% body fat for me to be able to help you in the United States. You got to make over 200K for me to even be able to help you in the United States, right? Face is subjective. You don't have to have a good looking face, or you can go overseas. So for all you guys that are well, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to go, let's say, remove myself, if you know what I mean. I'm going to remove myself from this earthly realm because it's hopeless and you've destroyed my help. Thank you for ruining my life, Casey, by pointing out these harsh truths. You can still go overseas, but point being, even overseas, you probably in most dating markets should at least be in good shape. You never really want to lead with money, at least not in the wrong way by doing sugar dating. And that's somewhat, debatable. Depends on the guy you are, depends how, important looks are to you. So this is why you have to obsess over it. And, to the guys who said something earlier, I have their comments earlier, they were saying we know that there's these feminine women abroad, but the obsession to women and devoting so much of your life is not becoming of a successful man. Well, it depends how you want to, define success, but I guess this is debatable, but some people want to be happy and some people define success as being happy. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's almost like a drug when you have a truly beautiful woman, plural, women at your side. But seriously, there's only so much of a void that male companionships and brotherhood can fulfill. I tend to be a stressed out workaholic maniac, extremely high testosterone that comes, not necessarily, but in many cases, a lot of anxiety. I need feminine women. I need the yin to my yang, balance me out on the feminine energy spectrum. And there's almost nothing that I can think of that's more rewarding than the butterflies and good emotions. You should be complete as a man without your woman for sure. You should not be looking for a woman to complete you. But, it's one of the greatest joys in life, the sex, the romance. Why would every book and every movie and almost every pop song and every play, all the stuff ever created have a huge aspect to it of, you know, romance and sex and chemistry. And for the reasons we described, because this is such an important decision, who you're going to marry, and then you want to talk about kids, you have sex with the wrong woman, you impregnate the wrong woman, she can take your fucking kids away. She can put you through the court system, the legal system, and you better believe she's going to fucking win. And boom, you just lost your kids because, or like, it was too low value and not becoming of a successful man to put so much energy and obsession into this. I wish it wasn't the case. I truly wish it wasn't the case, like fashion, right? For you to dress really well, you don't have to be obsessed with fashion. You can just kind of Google men's business casual outfits. You can Google Tristan Tate fashion and kind of just copy what they're wearing. Bada bing, bada doom. You don't have to like accessorize to like the perfect level. There's some things in life that you can get like a top level result in from just minimal effort. Like I said, you know, with your fashion, you know, maybe some other things in life too that I can't think of off the top of my head. But for the most important decision in your life, and, you know, like I said, someone's going to share kids with you, you should be obsessed with this. And if you're going to get in a long-term monogamous relationship and, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe just like cheat a little bit on the side or, you know, have a kind of like, you know, a semi-open relationship like I do with the girls that I'm dating, you only have to obsess over this for like, you know, a certain amount of time. Like the ideal scenario is that you obsess over this for a bit, get your perfect, amazing girl, put a couple babies in her, and then you don't have to think about this too much, right? That's all I have to say, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe so this video does well in the algorithm and so you get more free game. That's all I have to say. Peace out.